Hi everyone, this is Martha. I am a relationship counselor and clinical sexologist. And sorry, so this is Saturday night in Singapore, and I just finished my coaching for non-coaches training today. It was a public run, but it was also a pilot. So in today's session, 6 people attended, and about a month ago, I launched my counseling skills for non-counselors. So counseling skills and coaching skills. And I am actually a certified counselor and also certified coach. I had started to be introduced into counseling when I started to do volunteer counseling work. And at that time, I did a certificate in practical counseling with Fei Yue. And it changed my life. It taught me so much about really listening and being a even better communicator. So I already had my diploma in mass communications, my bachelor in mass communications. I thought I was a good communicator, had been told all my life I was good in communicating, and then went to take this counseling training and realized that a lot of what I thought about counselors was not true. And it changed my life. It also started to shape my personality, I think. So, so about a month ago, launched this counseling skills for non-counselors. It was 4 hours, and then a few days later, I did another one for 2 hours at WeWork. And because I did the 4 hour version, I was also able to do the 2 hour version. And so a lot of the things were condensed, but also crystallized, like what was really important to share. So I wanted to share some of because there are lots of things I can share. So some of the top 3 at least, things that a lot of people are not aware about counselors and coaches. So counselors and coaches are different. Counselors need to call yourself a counselor. Technically, you need to have a master's in counseling. So there are people who say, I'll offer counseling, but are they a registered or certified counselor? Most of the time, no. They may have counseling skills, they offer counseling, but they may not be counselors. It's very confusing, I know. So you can read about counseling skills from a book and say, I do counseling, but you can't really call yourself a counselor. Okay, but what about coaching? Coaching is different from counseling, and I often say this, any monkey can call themselves a coach, because a coach basically teaches and supports people to improve their lives. That's what coaching really means. So like a personal coach, a nutritional coach. So this coach can have attended like 1 hour training, 10 hour training, 100 hour training, 10,000 hour training, and you really need to ask about their credentials and their training, their experience, their testimonials, their supervision, their association. Because if they don't have a governing body, they are I just say more likely to be unsupervised. And when you are part of an association, usually they also make sure that besides the supervision, also the continued education, so that you stay relevant to the industry. So in Singapore, the most well-known one is International Coaching Federation, and I was one of the members. I attained ACC level. So there's ACC, PCC, and MCC. I did ACC, and I was one of the rare people in the world that actually was a certified coach as well. But I gave that up because I was tired of people assuming that just because they are coaches, they can do what I do. So I also was part of other associations for sex educators. And so I decided to just stay with that association. So I left the coaching title, and last year got my master's in counseling. So of course the training, and then it took 1 year for the paper to get to me, the actual cert. So then now I can call myself a counselor as well. So I don't just call myself titles that people just throw around, and frankly, they're quite unethical. Some people, if you don't really understand the industry, some people are very unethical in calling themselves counselors when they when they don't have counseling credentials, and also people who call themselves sex therapists, but actually they don't even have a master's in psychology. And so there's a lot of misconception around this. But okay, without further ado, what are the 3 surprising so-called rules of counselor coaches, the whole umbrella of counselor coaches, and probably also extends to psychotherapists or psychologists or even psychiatrists, because of my training in counseling and coaching, so I can speak for them. So one of the first things that we learned, people don't realize, is that we can be friendly, we can be supportive, but we're not your friend. We're not your friend. So with your friend, you can talk nonsense, and friends hug you, hold you, call you out on your stuff, and they can be brutally honest. They hang out with you, they go clubbing, they go dancing, they go shopping with you. Counselors, coaches, first thing is be friendly, not friends. So we are not actually supposed to have dual relationships, and this has caused some confusion in the past. And in one particular episode, when I was doing my master's in counseling, I had to fulfill counseling hours, and I was offering free counseling. There was people who assumed that because I'm friendly and I have the right profile and similar industry, that I would make a good friend. And so at some point just said, you know, I think we should stop therapy. You will make a better friend. I think I need a friend rather than a therapist. First of all, it was thrown onto me. I wasn't asked whether it was ethical to just terminate client counselor relationship and just end it because you feel like it. So there are boundaries as counselor, coaches, counselor, clients as well, okay? In our governing body, at least with Singapore Association of Counselors, is you're not supposed to have personal relations, whether romantic, sexual, with someone who was a client for 1 year. 1 year. So just because you say you like me, you want to hang out with me, we can't just change it overnight. And so different governing bodies have different rules. So yeah, 1 year. 1 year. And so it is surprising for people because they don't really understand the difference. And previously, also had a client who kind of confused that I was friendly and I want to support them, that it means that I'm going to be willing to meet them outside of session and do what I do for free. So part of the payment of the session is energetic as well, that there's a certain line you're paying for the professionalism. You're in a professional relationship, even though you're talking about personal stuff, you're hiring this person for their service and for the time that they are giving to you. So the first surprising rule that I just mentioned is no dual relationship. Be friendly, not friends. And this was also something that I learned in my media training when I was doing my diploma in mass communications and degree in mass communications. Be friendly, not friends. We are friendly, we are supportive, we are trained, we are ethical, but we can't really cross that line of hanging out with you at parties and things like that. That's the first thing. I think it can be pretty obvious for some people, maybe not so surprising, but I still keep seeing this come up, people trying to push that line. And also it can be a conflict, like for instance, somebody who I have been friendly with, maybe on social media, and says, I want to be a client. And because they have been friendly with me, they assume that I'm going to be on their side, that I'm going to listen to their instructions and not share certain things to their spouse. So when you work with a couple, this may be the second surprising thing. When you work with a couple, actually, you're not supposed to have confidentiality against each other. yes, we are supposed to be confidential, we're supposed to be ethical, everything is private, confidential, P and C, but there is usually a kind of clause attached to it, which is it is confidential to the extent of self-harm. If we suspect that you're going to kill yourself, then we will have to take action that will breach that confidentiality. So often it is already written in the terms and conditions of engagement. However, when you work with a couple, I'm not going to be holding secrets for you against the other. Then what's the point of going for therapy? What's the point of going for coaching, counseling? So ethically, a lot of people are not aware of this. The first thing is we're not your friends. We are trained. We have to adhere to certain boundaries, and sometimes by having these boundaries, is actually not just like for safety or whatever. It's actually for you because you feel that you're going to a neutral third party, you're paying for their time, and so the energy, the container is actually cleaner. There are people who feel safer because I'm not vested in you. I'm not like I have known you for 10 years, and so therefore I am going to get very upset if I suggest something and you're not going to listen to me. Like as a counselor coach, we are supposed to facilitate and support you for that time that you're coming to us for, and to have healthy detachment. So this is the reason why it is actually to your benefit that we are friendly and not friends. The second one I started to mention is, even though it is confidential, we don't hold secrets for you against your partner. We don't do that. We can't do that, and we shouldn't do that. But there are couples who don't understand that. And so what they do is, like I mentioned in the example, I knew someone and then actually say, don't tell my wife this. I can't do that. And there was no time and space for me to explain this, and then things started to get out of hand. But the thing is, there are also clients who try to outsmart their partner or something, and email me and tell me, okay, I want to have a session with you, and this is the background, and this is this, and oh, by the way, and this is this also, and this is this, and this is this. So what you're doing is you're trying to pitch me against your partner so that I am more on your side. So there's a difference between telling someone a background and it's like telling them all about your perspective. So energetically, they may not know this because it could be very subconscious. They are not trained therapists. They're actually trying to pitch you or put you to be in a position that is more favorable on their side. Like I said, they are not trained, so they may unconsciously do this. So it's very important, actually, even before the session starts. A lot of these power games or mind games actually already start. So I think it is beneficial for more people to know that actually client confidentiality, that doesn't mean I am one person's client. If both of you are coming to me as a couple, both of you are my clients. I will treat both of you fairly. So that's why it's beneficial to coming together for the first session. So it feels that, our triad relationship, the three of us, couple and client, and coach, counselor, you start off the relationship on the right footing. Otherwise, you bring your spouse later, they may feel energetically, they may not feel good that you already have this relationship with my partner, and now you're going to be more on their side rather than my side. So you can see it's already kind of like a self-sabotage if couples don't come in together at the same time. So sometimes what happens is when you start the relationship with the therapist or counselor, coach, therapist, they already started a relationship with you, say like for instance, not just one session but a few sessions, and then you want to bring in your partner. Sometimes it may be better to change the rules of engagement and make it very clear. So I am your counselor and coach. You are just having like a guest appearance. So I am still your counselor and coach. I am not their counselor and I am not your counselor. Can you see? It starts to really be very confusing because some therapists, what they do is, yeah, come in and let's start working together now, three of us, because now you're changing the rules of engagement because you have more sessions, more money. So some counselors and coaches and psychologists, they are not very clear. Whose therapist am I? So sometimes it becomes very, very blur because they are trying to take more money, basically. If I see this person and this is pretty much the end of the road with this client, but if with the partner I can have more sessions, means more money. So ethically, no. If you start off an arrangement where it's like, I am your counselor, guest appearance, fine. But it's like from being your counselor, suddenly I start to work with both of you, and suddenly now I'm your couples therapist. No, not cool, not cool. So a lot of people don't know this. So I'm telling you this, okay? So one, be friendly, not friends. Number two, confidentiality. So started to elaborate a lot about it, as you realize, my never-ending 3 surprising rules. So I have a long list of rules. The next rule that I want to say is the whole um, poker face poker face rule. Okay, so actually you think like a counselor is supposed to show a lot of empathy, and sometimes we can overreact and our reaction can scare our client. They start to share something where they feel very vulnerable, and we start to we start to if we do these kinds of face, it's actually our judgment onto them. Why does it matter what we think and feel when we are here to support? So actually in my work we have this thing I call it poker face, they call it neutral face, and we have to be very mindful of our the words we use, the tone we use it, and even little gestures that are pause fillers that we don't even realize will start to impact the client. For instance, when you have a session with a client and then you start saying, yeah, yeah, yes, You know that a lot of people, they do a lot of nodding. When we listen to your friend, you do a lot of nodding. And if you do too much nodding, it can look like dismissive. It can actually look irritating. It can look like you're not really listening. And so there's too much nodding sometimes, too much yes, 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 yes. So is yes because I approve, or is yes because I understand you? It can be misinterpreted, especially when someone is feeling really vulnerable. So the words you say, yes, 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 okay, 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 can also feel like approval seeking. Especially when they have low self-esteem, they may not realize this, but unconsciously they're seeking your approval. They want you to like them. And sometimes we as counselors, coaches, we want our clients to like us, so we may do too much of that smiling, yeah, 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 okay, yeah. So if we are not conscious about our verbal and non-verbal, um it can really affect the client. So we are taught to be so mindful of our verbal and non-verbal that we become very, very conscious of it, because all we want to do is really be able to better support our clients so that we can um, be not just professional, but actually be effective in what we are doing. And so some people may think, oh, this counselor is non-expressive. I can be feeling a lot. It's about showing the empathy at the right time and in the right way, not too much, not too little. And also, a lot of times we can tell from our experience, like we become very experienced in reading people's body language, micro expressions, micro expressions. So, depending on what is happening, you may want to tweak it. So for instance, I can tell when a client is feeling a little bit uncomfortable that I haven't nodded or smiled for a while because of my poker face. Just because I don't show it, it doesn't mean that I don't care. I'm listening. And so when I'm focusing on listening, it can come across as very serious, but actually I'm really listening. And after I listen, then I can respond. And when I see that they're uncomfortable, that I'm not smiling or nodding, then I do it. But I'm not doing it because I need to please them. I'm actually doing it to reassure them. So can you see, when you become a counselor coach and you become very, very polished in reading people's body language and their micro expressions, you can actually manipulate their response so that you get what you want: more sales, more sessions. And so it's really, really important to have supervision, and it's really important to know that they are trained, they are ethical, that they have supervision, they have a governing body, and you deserve You deserve to have the best support that you can get, whether it is in your city or not. Wow, so all these comments are coming in. Okay, so let me tell you that I didn't see any of this just pop up. So these are three of the things that I want to share with you. There are many other things that I want to share with you, but I don't want to make a long video because it's been 20 minutes, okay? So three things. The first one is they should be friendly, not your friend. They're not your friend. In fact, it's to your benefit that they're not your friend, because when I am with my friends, trust me, my friends actually tell me they roll their eyes when I'm with them. So I can tell you that I'm very different when I'm a counselor coach. I can be funny, but when I have my work hat on, poker face, poker face. Be very, very conscious of what I'm sending out, the tone, the vibe, doing it at the right time. So you're having it all the way down to an art. Be friendly, not friends. And this whole thing about confidentiality that I shared with you, who is your therapist? Is it yours? Is it yours as a couple? Is it theirs? So share a little bit about that. And then the third one is this neutrality, this poker face, being very conscious of pause fillers like, okay, yes, smiling too much, nodding too much. Are you doing this because you are wanting them to like you? What is that about you? So we as counselors, coaches also need to go for counseling coaching. We also need to go through it because we become more aware of ourselves, our bias, our judgments, our values. We need to work through our own stuff so that we can be a clean container. That's right, a clean container for our clients. So all these training that we have actually teach us to have clean boundaries, and we work through our stuff as well. And so it is important to check that your counselor coach actually goes for supervision, has a governing body, and what kind of training they've had, how long they've been doing it, what are their testimonials, what do people say, what does the forum say. It's all very important. What do they say on YouTube? Do you like them? Do you like me? So these are some of the things that lots of people don't know. So yeah, so it has been 20 minutes. I'll just 22 minutes. So I'll just end this video. This is a Saturday night. You probably have better things to do. But thank you for watching this because you're curious and because you are maybe thinking of hiring a counselor coach and you wanted to know, and maybe you're thinking of hiring me. Haha. Okay, so I know I'm a bit funny, whatever, but I like to be real with people, okay? I'm very direct, I'm honest, I have integrity, and I do care a lot, and I try to make sessions fun when possible, but definitely I don't try to be fun for the sake of being funny. I do it very consciously as well. Can you see my poker face? So do check out my website. That's eroscoaching.com. Have a good weekend.